Hi, everyone, and welcome to our Facebook Live as part of Exam Ready. I'm Rashawn, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a psychology student, and I'm also a peer supporter with health and wellness.
Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Justine. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm majoring in critical studies and equity and solidarity. I'm part of the Healthy U Crew, a group of students that work on health education and promotion programming workshops with collaboration on campus partners with health and wellness as well. Thanks, Roshan.
Hi everyone, my name is Mohammed Abid. I'm a student in the Rotman Commerce program, and I'm also a peer coordinator with the Center for Learning Strategy and Support. Our focus is on helping students build strong, healthy study habits, manage their schedules, and overall just achieve their academic goals. So all of us here know this is a very busy time for everyone, a time when we're all trying to manage multiple assignment deadlines, and of course, preparing for upcoming exams. Roshan, if you could start off by telling us what your next few weeks are looking like.
That's exactly right, Mohammed. Finishing up assignments while also trying to prepare for exams is what I'm going to do for the next few weeks. Psychology has a mix of written assignments and exams, so I'm trying to finish up my last assignments of the semester, and then I'll be studying for my exams. By now, I've learned that you really want to be caught up with your lectures at least a week or two before the exam, so you can spend that time reviewing.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a lot to manage, Roshan. How have you been sort of staying on top of it so far?
Yeah, it can be really overwhelming sometimes for sure. If I try to study for everything in one sitting, it can definitely seem like a lot of work. I find it's really helpful to plan out my studying in advance and chunk out the work so that I'm not worrying about reviewing the entire semester at once. I can just take it one step at a time. Personally, the Pomodoro method works really well for me, which combines 25-minute study sessions with 5-minute breaks. It really helps me focus on specific topics and not get too overwhelmed. You can also gamify it with free apps like Forest to challenge yourself to study for longer. One thing that I found really helpful is creating my own personal mnemonics to help me remember everything. In psychology, there's so much that you need to remember and keep in mind to do well. When you're under pressure writing the exam, those mnemonics can really save your life.
I think those are some phenomenal strategies, Roshan. I know at the Center for Learning Strategy Support, we share a lot of those similar strategies with the students, especially when they meet one-on-one with learning strategists, as well as our peer mentors. So we actually regularly run these study hubs, and they're based on the Pomodoro method that you were just talking about. So students would join for two 50-minute study sessions separated by a 10-minute break. Now, to a lot of people, it seems sort of counterintuitive, but it's actually very difficult to take in a lot of information and retain that information without having some breaks in between. So, taking small breaks, even while you're in the middle of studying, can really help you study longer overall and make those study sessions a lot more effective. And a break could be anything. It could be calling a friend, it could be grabbing a coffee, or going for a quick walk to reset. I think those study sessions are a great way to help with those overall study processes and also set boundaries between when you're going to do schoolwork and the time you have saved for other parts of your life. As a student in Rotman Commerce, a lot of my courses are structured around these very math heavy exams. So I agree with you, Roshan, that sort of staying caught up on lectures is so important. That way, when it comes time to prepare for an exam, I'm spending most of my study time reviewing the information I've already learned, and I don't need to sort of scramble last minute to catch up on material that I've missed or cram the night before. So my studying, because it's a lot of it is math centered, involves memorizing a lot of formulas. And I find doing practice problems, just practicing those difficult math questions as much as possible to be a very effective way to study for that kind of an exam. So something else that's been a huge help for me is the old exam repository, so that I can practice a lot of those old exam questions. I know a lot of professors as well, they will share their previous exams so that you can sort of go over what course-specific material will be on your upcoming exam. Overall, just practicing with old exams takes away a bit of that mystery about what's going to be on your upcoming exam. Not only do you see some previous course material, but also the structure of questions that you can expect to see in your upcoming exams. I know that U of T also has some great resources for a bit of extra help in your studying process. A lot of faculties and departments have aid centers and even tutoring. Personally, I've used the math learning centers. It's been a huge help for me. I know with a lot of first year courses, Math 133, 135, 136, especially right before major midterms or exams, they hold very large sessions, tutor, and give as much support as they can with course specific material. I want to point out there's also a brand new University of Toronto tutor directory where you can actually search for the courses that you need help with and find a UofT trained tutor who's qualified in that specific course. So if anyone's considering hiring a tutor, I'd say the University of Toronto tutor directory is the first place you should look. Again, trained by the university, and these are students who've taken the courses that you need help with, and you know they've done very well in those courses. I would also recommend you take a look at your student unions or your course unions because they may be organizing specific study sessions for those courses, especially before major midterms and exams. I want to pass it over to you, Justine. What do the next few weeks look like for you?
Yeah, thanks so much for those great resources, Mohammed. I actually had no idea that there was a specific course tutor directory. So that is a really great tool, and I think I'm definitely going to check that out. Like I said, I am majoring in critical studies in equity and solidarity. So it is a humanities-based program, and a lot of the humanities-based programs require a lot of essay writing. So I don't have too many exams. However, I do have a lot of papers to get through, and that can sometimes take several days. We are cramming in a lot of, writing long essay writing sessions. But yeah, so humanities-based programs often encourage us to use writing centers, and writing centers are a great tool. Most colleges have specific writing centers, but also if your courses are associated with a certain college. So for mine, my major is associated with New College. I'm able to use those writing circles for those courses, which is a really, really great tool. You can go to brainstorm outlines for your papers. You can go to revise and edit your final papers. And these are qualified writers, and they are very, very supportive and helpful with generating ideas for these papers. Another awesome tool that I really love to use when writing essays is wordhippo.com. It's an online thesaurus that helps you generate creative words and synonyms for your papers, which I find very helpful. I know in my own writing, I can tend to get very repetitive, and Word Hippo really allows me to find different words that I can use or transition into different sections of my papers, really helpful and really easily, and just make the overall essay flow better. So yeah, that's a great tool. I also think that one thing that has really helped me a lot with papers specifically is office hours. And when I'm struggling to formulate an idea or I'm stressed or worried about like certain structure of my paper, talking about it with the prof can really help. I think they also reassure the certain points that you're trying to get across, and they can help you also formulate and generate those ideas to help it flow better and also just structure, better structure as well. And yeah, I know sometimes, talking with the prof, that can be kind of daunting and kind of scary sometimes for some students. I totally understand. The culture at U of T is definitely real, and it's easy to feel like you're an imposter or you don't belong. I've definitely felt that way sometimes. But listen, everybody deserves to be here no matter what program you are in. We all got accepted into this amazing school, and everyone deserves to be here, so you shouldn't feel like an imposter at all. There are also workshops that can actually help with managing those thoughts of feeling like an imposter. And actually, on November 26th, there's a great workshop happening. It is called Managing Imposter Syndrome, and it's specifically for Black students. And I think this is a great workshop to check out. And yeah, I will definitely be using these tools throughout my writing and my essays. And I know it's nerve-wracking for some folks, but also peer support is a great, great source. And I know Roshan can definitely attest to that.
Yes, absolutely, Justine. So, if you're feeling nervous about going to office hours or you're just not sure how to do it, a peer supporter like myself can talk you through it, and we can even role play the situation with you. Sessions are drop-in and one-on-one, non-judgmental, and confidential. You can visit us on campus Tuesdays to Fridays or chat with us on Zooms from Wednesday to Friday. Some students might also find it useful to talk through some of the emotions they're feeling during exam season or any anxieties they might have. We're all UofT students like you from a variety of backgrounds and programs and level of studies. So chances are we know exactly what you're feeling around this time of the year, and we can provide support to help you through it or connect you to other resources on and off campus. In fact, if you want to learn more about us, feel free to check us out at some pop-up events happening this month. On Friday, November 22nd, we'll be at Annis College residence from 1 to 4 p.m. And on Tuesday, November 26th, we'll be at New College residence at the Wilson Lounge from 1 to 4 p.m. You can drop by and chat with us and get a better understanding of what a peer support session looks like through the mini sessions. We'll also be giving away health and wellness merch and some snacks, so make sure to stop by.
That sounds great. Thanks so much, Roshan. I'm definitely gonna check that out for sure and looking forward to those snacks. Also, I was just gonna add, and if the idea of office hours is still, feeling uncomfortable for you and it's not the most comfortable for you, like I said, there are also writing centers that can help you with your essays. And like I said, it can be helpful for grammar, spelling, and even generating thesis for your papers. It's a great tool. Figuring out the best ways to structure your essays is important, but so is finding the time to actually write the essays. And for me, procrastination is definitely a struggle. I know everyone can attest to procrastination. I think honestly, I used to think that procrastinating is a sign of, like lack of self-discipline or laziness, but this is not actually true, and I've really gained to realize this. And we mostly procrastinate when we want to avoid the negative emotions surrounding a task, including stress and anxiety. And yet, when we do procrastinate, we usually feel more stressed and anxious afterwards. Clinicians actually at Health and Wellness are offering another great workshop, and this one is specifically to learn to manage exam and test stress, and it's happening on November 21st. And this actually can definitely help reduce the need to procrastinate in the first place.
Definitely, definitely, Justine. And if you find yourself procrastinating often, especially this time of year, I really recommend you check out the Night Against Procrastination, which is being held November 21st, starting at 5 p.m. So the Center for Learning Strategy Support, along with a lot of St. George campus partners, are hosting a slew of online workshops to support your learning, as well as a lot of in-person activities to help you de-stress, avoid procrastination, and as well as connecting with a lot of other students that may be attending that day. There are so many options here, both individual one-on-one support, but if that's not your thing, we have a lot of group workshop activities that you can access to get some support as well. So, whatever works best for you, whether it's in person or in a group, it's a night where we all get together and fight procrastination. So definitely check out the Night Against Procrastination. Again, that's happening November 21st, starting at 5 p.m. You can read a lot more about the different events that are happening and all of the different partners and their offerings on our website at uft.me/NAP. Yeah, so definitely check out the Night Against Procrastination.
That's such a great idea. I love that you got a whole bunch of supports and workshops all in one place. There are a lot of great resources to study for exams, but I also feel like it's important to set boundaries and remember that there's more to us than just essays and exams. It's important to make time to practice self-care. That can look different for everyone. Whatever you need to do to address your body's needs, prevent illness, and maintain your overall health and well-being is part of self-care. Physical activity is another type of self-care, and it's actually been found that even 10 minutes of activity per day is beneficial. Justine, are there other self-care practices you use to balance being a student, a member of the Healthy You crew, and just living life?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely could use some self-care and eating healthy and drinking enough water are also important parts when I do my own self-care, especially around exams. It can be hard to make time to eat healthy regularly, but it's so important to give your brain the energy it needs so you can prepare for those long essay writings and those long math tests and all those written exams and everything like that. So yeah. Personally, I find, making food and cutting ingredients can be very time consuming for sure. So yeah, I would recommend doing it with a roommate, a friend, a partner, or a family member. I think it's just a great distraction too from your studies to have some socialization and just have a good time with your friends. And also, connection can be so important for your wellness, especially during times of high stress. Talking to a classmate, friend, or peer can help improve your mood by making you less alone. And by taking your mind off the stress of exams, it will definitely, help. The Healthy You Crew is hosting actually an art wellness workshop on December 3rd, where students can connect with friends or with strangers, express themselves, and de-stress. And if you need a break from studying, art can be such a fulfilling way to spend your time. And I think we can transition to talking about stress. What about you, Roshan? What do you think?
Well, like you said, I definitely think that connection is one thing that's very important for stress. Talking to a classmate, friend, or peer can really help improve your mood because it just helps you feel less alone. Um, and like you said, I believe you said that there's a December 3rd event occurring. So that's pretty cool. I'll definitely be checking that out. Um, and on the top of that, I also think sleep is something that is very overlooked and something that's very important. I find it helpful to get a good night's sleep, which really helps me balance school, work, and fun. I can definitely say that my stress levels affect my quality of sleep, and that poor sleep affects my mood for sure. Speaking from personal experience, spending some time before bed to wind down can really, really help. Because stress can also impact your sleep quality. That's for sure. Whenever possible, it's important to de-stress before bed. Based on my experience, ending my study session like an hour or two before I want to go to bed is a really good idea. It can be difficult to step away from your laptop and books sometimes. So that can be tricky, but it is definitely something you should try to do. And during the downtime, it can be really great to do things that help you wind down and just bring you comfort. So for me, that's listening to my favorite podcasts, making a nice hot cup of tea, or talking to a friend. And speaking of getting a good night's sleep, UofT actually has a sleep well workshop that talks about how sleep affects our health and well-being and also provides tips on what you can do to wake up feeling more rested and refreshed.
That's great. And I think also on the topic of sleep and stress and everything like that, I think mindfulness is another great tool that we can use daily, weekly, or whenever works best for you to help you wind down and relax. Personally, I usually find myself thinking about that upcoming exam or assignments, or even what I need to do when I get home from school. Especially in university, our minds are constantly on overdrive, which can really impact our mood and stress levels.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure, Justine. It can be really difficult not to get ahead of ourselves when we go through stressful periods. I know, especially in my first few years at U of T, I'd be so focused on like potential upcoming deadlines that I would get overly stressed about assignments and exams I was completely confident about. So, mindfulness practices have been really helpful in preventing me from constantly thinking about potential future stressors. So, one practice that I have used is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding activity. You can take one deep breath in and one deep breath out. Then, in your mind, you just name 5 things you see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This practice takes less than 5 minutes of your day and can really help ground you in the present moment, especially when you feel like your thoughts are spiraling. So, yeah, as we come to the end of the session, it's important to note that how you manage stress is personal, just the same with learning techniques. What works for you may not work for everybody else, and everyone just goes at their own pace. So, you don't have to use all these tools all at once. There are a lot of supports and options available because everybody is different. So, I hope you learned like 1 or 2 things or 1 or 2 resources that will help you get ready for your exams. And that's a bit all for me. So thank you for listening and joining today. Thank you, Justine.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Roshan. And thank you everybody for tuning in. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day.